If you want to be a real estate agent, there's some stuff that you need to know first. I'm going to be going over the truth about being a realtor that you're not going to hear. You're not going to hear this from your broker. You're not going to hear it from your instructor in school when you're getting your real estate license. You're not going to hear this really from the internet. What you see, this perception that you have of real estate agents and what we do for a living that you get from Instagram or selling Sunset or buying Beverly Hills, it's just not accurate, right? There's so much that you don't know, and you really need to, so that you're not setting yourself up for failure if you're going to get your real estate license. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am Dustin Brohm, the host of the Massive Agent Podcast, and I've been an agent for 12 years now. I coach and train and am partnered with close to 300 agents around the country and some in Canada. And I will say this, being a real estate agent is one of the best, most amazing, most rewarding professions you could ever choose. It can be extremely lucrative. You can get giant paychecks, absolutely. You can have a hell of a lot of fun. You can build wealth. You can create time freedom for yourself. But here's the thing. In the beginning, it's not going to look like that, all right? You have to make certain decisions. You have to move in certain directions. You have to think like an entrepreneur right from the get-go. And there's a lot of advice that you're going to have to ignore. You're going to have to just tune out a lot of advice from people who don't have careers or lifestyles or incomes that you want. I mean, there's a lot of advice out there. There's too much advice. But who are you getting it from? Make sure that whoever you're listening to, there's someone that you actually like, they have something you want. Maybe it's their income. Great. But what about their lifestyle? Do they work 90 hours a week? Are they a horrible parent? Are they are they constantly on their phones 24/7? If that's the life you want to live, cool, follow that person. But I'm telling you, there are business models where you can be working a lot less than you might think. Not in the very beginning, but after 18 months to 2 years, you could be working a lot less because you've put systems in place and you start building a true business. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the truth about being a real estate agent that your broker is not going to tell you. I'm going to start with this, okay? I'm going to make it sound a little ominous. I'm going to make it sound kind of shitty. I'm going to give you the bad. I'm going to give you the bad news first, and then I'm going to tie this up with the good news. So as an agent, you need to be prepared to be yelled at. You need to be prepared to go months and months and months without a paycheck. You need to be prepared to be blamed for literally everything that goes wrong, even stuff that's out of your control completely. You need to be prepared for how it feels when a close friend or a family member hires another realtor instead of you. That's going to happen. You're going to be a therapist. You're going to be a babysitter. You're going to be a nanny. You're going to be a psychologist. You're going to be a firefighter putting out fires all over the damn place. But like I said earlier, that's in the beginning. All right. You need to be prepared for worst case scenario. And then you need to make decisions that move you towards building a business. And so you have systems and people in place so they can do a lot of the stuff so that it's not all on your plate. Look, you hear this crazy stat that like 90% of real estate agents fail. Yes, but 90% of real estate agents do it wrong. They try to do literally everything themselves. They're wearing all the hats in their business. They don't outsource. They don't have any help. They don't have any employees. They have no staff. They're trying to do everything themselves. I'm telling you, you can do that. And you can absolutely sell a bunch of homes and make a bunch of money, but your lifestyle will suck. You're going to be burned out. I mean, some of the top producers in the industry that I'm personally friends with, they're burned out. Yes, they're selling 100 homes a year by themselves, but they're burned out because they don't have any staff. They don't have a team to help them. And here's the thing. If you're going to go it alone, yes, you can make a great living, make a great income, but you're not a business owner. You're not an entrepreneur. You own your own job at that point. Most real estate agents fail because they own their own job and they never figure out how to scale past their own time and their own efforts. If you're going to be a real estate agent, you need to be prepared to get very, very uncomfortable. You're going to be pushed out of your comfort zone when it comes to attracting clients and doing things to attract new business, which, by the way, that is the difference between the great agents that are selling hundreds, if not thousands of homes every year and the agent that's only selling a couple homes a year and struggling. It's marketing. your ability to get new business in the door. It has nothing to do with how good of an agent you are. Yes, naturally, you need to be good at your job. You need to understand the contracts. You need to understand the market. You need to understand customer service. You need to take great care of your clients. Yes, obviously. But just because you have great customer service doesn't mean that you're going to sell 300 homes this year. Okay, you need a bunch of people to know that you are great with your clients. You need 300 or more people to know and trust you that you're going to give them the best service, that you're going to help them accomplish their goals, and that by working with you, they're going to get something they can't get anywhere else. And maybe it's just that they like you. You've taught them something through your content. We talk a lot about this on the Massive Agent podcast and on this channel, is some ways of marketing and attracting clients are better than others. So there's a lot of advice out there that you're going to hear from people that you can just reject because they're going to tell you to do something that worked 20 years ago. And I see this shit all the time in real estate. They're telling brand new agents, you need to jump on the phones. You need to go door knocking. You need to cold call strangers and see if they need any help to buy or sell real estate. Well, yeah, that works. It works. But is it the best use of your time? Does it provide you leverage? Of course not. You have to keep doing it over and over and over. And if you're going to go knock on doors, how many doors can you knock on in a day? If you knock on 100 doors in a day, that's a pretty damn good day. Well, at the same time, you could spend 3 to 5 minutes doing a great video that reaches tens of thousands of people. You see the difference here? Everything works and nothing doesn't. But some means, some methods, some strategies of getting clients to come to you as an agent are better than others. So if you're going to become a real estate agent, you need to decide for yourself right off the bat, what are you good at? What do you want to do as far as attracting clients and getting new people to work with? What do you want to do? Do you want to cold call strangers? Do you want to go door knocking? Do you want to send direct mail? Or would you rather be a content creator? Would you rather learn how to attract clients to you just by putting videos on the internet? And there's a formula to follow. There's a blueprint to follow for how to do videos the right way, what to do them about, how to structure them, getting the lighting and the audio right, all that stuff. Yes, there's a formula for that, but guess what? It's out there. You can literally rip off and duplicate from one of thousands of agents that are doing it at a very, very high level. And it's the highest leverage activity you could do. Cold calling is 1-to-1. You make one call, hopefully you reach one person. And by the way, it's becoming less effective every day. Call blockers, iOS now, I don't even get phone calls from unknown numbers because I blocked it. I just clicked one little button in my iPhone and any unknown number, it sends right to voicemail. Well, that's what's happening to you. So cold calling is becoming less effective because people don't want their day interrupted. When you knock on their door unexpectedly or you call someone unexpectedly, you are interrupting them. Any kind of marketing that involves interruption marketing is becoming less effective by the day. You need to be marketing on someone else's time, meaning when they decide to sit down on their couch and scroll through their Instagram feed, they're going to see your video there. They chose to. Okay? If you're going to send text messages to your leads as follow-up, they can read it and respond to it on their time. You're not interrupting them with the text. Very, very big difference between how things worked at the beginning of my career 12 years ago to how they work today. One more negative about being an agent. You could get your ass sued. You can be part of a lawsuit because, like I said before, you can be blamed for everything and anything and everything, even if you had no control over it or not. And we're dealing with, the largest financial investment or purchase that most people make in their lifetime. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So when the stakes are so high, the stakes are high, right? So you can absolutely get yourself into a lawsuit. Now, the brokerage you choose should have insurance for you. Some will pay for it for you. Some will make you pay for it. There's insurance to help cover that, but nonetheless, there's liability involved. So if you're able to stomach that, just know this could be the best career you've ever chosen. There's so many different ways to make money in real estate. There's so many different paths to choose, business models to do. There's so many different ways to reach the goal you want. And that's why I say you have to decide what it is you want. Maybe right now, you just want to have $100,000 a year in your bank account that you actually receive as profit. Cool. Well, then what does that take? What do you need to reach? What do you need to do to reach that level? And then you reverse engineer it. Now, $100,000 a year as a real estate agent is not difficult, okay? in the beginning, as you're learning the business, it's going to be a little tough, right? Because you're learning something new. Look, you're going to suck in the beginning. All right, this is something your broker is not going to tell you. They're just going to say, get on the phones, make calls, make sure you're in the office at 8:30 and call these phone numbers, right? It's very, very common in the industry. Well, first off, you don't have to go with a team or a broker that makes you make phone calls every day or that gives you office hours. I didn't. I went a different route. I wanted to call my own shots. I got into real estate because I wanted freedom. I got into real estate because I wanted the ability, if my son had a soccer game, that I could just say, all right, I'm out for 2 hours. I'm going to go to the soccer game. I wanted to go out of town for the weekend. If my wife and I wanted to take the whole day and just do a date day, we could. I wanted time freedom. So I chose to go solo and not have a structure where I felt like an employee. It's up to you. Maybe you need some structure. See, these are the nuances that your broker and most leaders in the industry are not going to talk about. They're going to push you into usually one box, like one way of doing things. Like I said, everything works and nothing doesn't. You just have to choose what you want, the lifestyle you want, the career you want, what you want your days to look like, and then reverse engineer how to get there. Now, finding a mentor is absolutely key. And maybe that's your broker. Maybe it's another agent in the office, but maybe not. Maybe you have to hire a mentor. Maybe you have to hire a coach. That is not an expense. That's an investment. I wish I would have hired a coach from day one, but I saw it as an expense. I saw coaching, I saw mentorship as an expense and not an investment. I'm telling you right now, if you can get yourself a great coach who's already done the thing you're trying to do. Now, this is key. Make sure that they have actually done what you're trying to do, that they actually know how to get to the place you're trying to get to. So be very picky about who you hire as a coach and which coaching programs you join and all of that, because you may find yourself being led down a path that you don't want to go if you hire the wrong coach. But had I hired a coach early on, I would have been given this cheat code, this blueprint to, rather than like beating my head against the wall, trying to attract clients and grow a business that took me, 5 or 6 years just to get to a point where I felt like I had a handle on it and understood the marketing and how to get new people in the door. I could have had that in 6 months had I just invested in the right coach and the right program. So it's a hack. It's a cheat code. Get yourself a real estate coach, join a coaching program like the Massive Agent Society or a bunch of other ones. There are a lot of great coaches and a lot of great coaching programs out there. And some brokerages will allow you to actually become business partners with your mentor, so that you're not even having to hire them. That's something that we do with our team, my Massive Agent team. We don't take any commission split from our agents. You just have one with the brokerage, but to be part of our team does not cost you anything extra. We get paid by the brokerage when you sell houses. So we are financially tied together. Find something like that. If it's not my team, it's something similar to where you are getting mentorship, you're getting coaching, and those coaches and mentors are being paid. They're getting compensated for their time and efforts when you have success. That's a big deal. So when you're tied together, now your coach and your mentor and your team, they have to get you selling houses or else they're not going to make any money. That's a very, very big deal. And it's fairly new to the real estate industry. That hasn't been around as at the scale it is today for more than 3 or 4 years in this industry. It's very, very uncommon, and most brokerages and brokers you speak to have nothing like that. If you want to learn more about our team structure and how we can help you, whether you're new or you're a veteran agent just looking for a better opportunity, make sure you go to Instagram and just shoot me a DM at Massive Agent and say, hey, I was watching your YouTube video. Tell me more about the Massive Agent team, how it works, what you get, what's included, all that stuff. So real estate can be the best profession ever. Yes, paychecks can be huge. You can absolutely even get a 6-figure paycheck if you're selling a multi-million-dollar property. Absolutely. Those exist. Most agents, most homes are not that big. So, if you're getting a $10,000 to $20,000 check every time you sell a house, that still doesn't suck. That's still a great paycheck. You can absolutely get freedom of time where no one can tell you what to do. You're setting your own schedule. You're working when and where and how you want. Now, in the beginning, it may not be that way. You have to put systems in place to build that freedom. In the beginning, you're probably going to be working a hell of a lot more than if you were working a job. There's this this funny but absolutely accurate saying out there about entrepreneurship, that you quit the 40 hours a week so you could work 80 hours a week for yourself. In the beginning of being a realtor, as you're learning the ropes and putting things into play, it's going to feel like that. But that doesn't have to be the case for years and years. Unfortunately, there's far too many agents out there that are still working 70 to 80 hours a week, even 5, 6, 7 years into their career, because they just don't know any other way. They don't have a mentor to show them a better path. Another great thing about being an agent is access to real estate investments. You're talking with property owners all day long, every day. You're talking to potential buyers and sellers every day. And sometimes you're going to come across deals where it doesn't make sense for that seller to put it on the market. Maybe it needs $100,000 in repairs just to get it like livable. Well, putting it on the market and listing it is really not the best thing for them. So what if you could come in as a real estate investor or partner with one and say, hey, listing it doesn't make sense. You're going to have to put in way too much money. If you just want to sell it as is, we'll just buy it from you. Or if they're behind on their payments, there are options where you can take over their payments and buy the property subject to the existing loan. So many different strategies like that. And by being an agent, you're right in the thick of it. So you're right in there with all the property owners. If you're trying to build wealth through real estate investment and flip homes, buy investment properties, all of that, being a real estate agent is a great place to get access to those deals. Let's wrap this up with some misconceptions about being an agent, because these are funny to me. Now, all of these misconceptions I had early on in my career as well. The first one, that you must dress a certain way to be a successful real estate agent. Why did I think that? Because my mentor, the very first mentor I had in the business, that's what he taught me. He said, you've got to have nice slacks. You need to have a button-up shirt. You need to do this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? I hated that shit. I don't like dressing that way. I don't own a suit. I still don't own a suit. I felt so uncomfortable, like a fish out of water, because I thought that to be a successful real estate agent, that I must dress a certain way. Over time, I realized that's not the case. You'll see agents that are selling multi-million-dollar properties that show up to listing presentations in shorts and flip-flops. One of the agents on our team, he just picked up a big NBA star as a buyer. And guess what? This agent doesn't own a suit. Like, he doesn't dress up. He picked this NBA star up as a buyer because he is a normal guy and related to, at a friend level, at a human level, with this NBA star. And the NBA star is like, you know what? You seem like you know what you're doing. You're credible. You're obviously sharp. I like you. There was a personal connection there. And so he hired him. He doesn't dress up to drive this NBA star around town. He wears t-shirts, jeans, whatever the hell he wants. That's how I started to dress later on in my career, once I realized that I could attract the clients that I wanted to work with. The second misconception goes along with that you're going to have to work with people of all different walks of life, different personality types. Yes, that it's yes and no. In the beginning, of course, you're not going to want to turn down some super analytical buyer when you're not an analytical person. You may get to the point where you do, because you're like, hey, we're just not a good fit. If they're super analytical and you're not going to be the best agent for them. So then you refer them to another agent. And by the way, when you do that, you can get a 20 to 30% referral fee from that other agent because you referred a client to them. There's another little income stream if you have your real estate license. And the reason I say yes or no with working with different personality types, if you are choosing the content marketing path where you're going to be putting out a ton of video on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, everything to attract clients, what's going to happen is you're going to find that you will start attracting the right people, and you're going to start repelling people that don't like your personality. That's not a negative. Okay, that's actually a huge blessing. When I started doing content, I started to attract people that I became friends with. I started to attract people who already had a feeling for who I was as a person. They already kind of got my personality. They already kind of knew who I was. They knew that I swore. They knew that I was a little rough around the edges, that I wore a backwards hat and all the stuff, right? And they still hired me. So I started to attract people who wanted to work with me. And I started to repel people that did not want to work with somebody like me. You start to eliminate these problem clients, these nightmare clients that you hear agents talk about. And that is absolutely a beautiful thing. You start to attract the right people. So when you get into attraction marketing and you are yourself in your content, you let your personality come through and shine, you're going to attract the right people and business becomes fun. When you're working with people who want to work with you, they already know what they're getting before they hire you. Business becomes really fun and you start to build lifelong relationships. Guess what? That's actually great business, because if you're working with these people that you're not really compatible with, you're never going to be friends with after the deal, you're not going to get as many referrals from those people. They're just going to be glad the deal's done and you guys are going to go your separate ways. Not that you hate each other, but you're just, those people you wouldn't be friends with them. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you are attracting the right people, you attract people that you will become friends with, that do want to be around you, and then you start getting more referrals from those people because you stay connected longer. I will end with this. Being a real estate agent is one of the best choices you could ever make for yourself. However, you need to understand it's going to take a ton of work. There's going to be a lot of stress. There's going to be a lot of frustration. You're going to absolutely suck in the beginning. That's the way it works with anything new that you're learning. You just have to know that and push through it and practice, practice, practice. The more people you speak to, the better you're going to get. The more videos you record, the better they're going to be. The more you study the market and look at homes on the MLS, the more knowledgeable you're going to be about neighborhoods and market stats. It's just a repetitions game. The great news is you control that. Your broker doesn't control how often you do that. You do. So I want you to get into real estate with your eyes wide open. It can be a grind. It can be extremely stressful. And even if you do everything right and you have the right business model, you're still going to have times where it's extremely stressful. You're going to have road bumps. You're going to have all this stuff, right? It's stressful, but it's worth it. If you are willing to deal with some of the negatives, with some of the stress, with the long hours in the beginning, and as long as you're willing to get uncomfortable a little bit and then make bold moves to set yourself up for the future, you could absolutely be selling hundreds of homes and be working less than 40 hours a week within just a few years, as long as you do it right and have the right mentors who can guide you to that point. Thank you guys for watching. If you decide to get into real estate, I would love to talk to you about what the Massive Agent team can do for you to see if you are a right fit for us and to see if we are the right fit for you. So please reach out. Just DM me at Massive Agent on Instagram and let me know you watched this video and we'll talk. I can send you a video that breaks down what we do, how we do it, who we're looking for, and all of that. And if we're the right fit, I'm excited to work together and talk in the future.